Hello everyone, this is Nani Noam Vazana, live here on this page, Why DIY Music. I'm going to be interviewing Steve Mead, the artistic director of the Manchester Jazz Festival. So join us for an hour, free hour for musicians, with our little guide, How to Survive the Corona Times for Independent Musicians. Hello Rosa, we can see you. Hello Nigel. Welcome. Hello everyone and welcome to the Why DIY Music webinar. For those of you who don't know Steve Mead, he's the fabulous artistic director and CEO and co-founder of the Manchester Jazz Festival that was supposed to be the 25th year this year. Unfortunately, he had to cancel his festival because of the coronavirus. So we're actually not the only ones that are being hurt from this crisis. Steve is a pioneer programmer and he's pioneering talent and audience development and commissioning new work. MJF won the Europe Jazz Network Award for Adventurous Programming in 2016. The Artistic Directors Exchange Award in 2017 and is the PRS Foundation Talent what's that? Is that development? I guess that's Talent Development Partner. Steve is also Creative Director of Jazz North, the Jazz Development Agency for the North of England, and he is a Vice Chair of the UK and Ireland-wide Jazz Promotion Network and sits on advisory panels for Sirius and PRS Foundation. He enjoys a wide range of music, people, and really all the things that still work. So,
yes,
hey,
excluding technology. Can you be my manager? That sounded fun. I don't know this guy. I don't recognise him.
Well, you wrote that text, so.
Oh, really? Okay, it must have been a long time. Must have been in my dreams.
Yes, might have been.
It's great to be doing these sessions with you, Nani, as well, because we've done quite a few now live in person at various festivals and conferences all over Europe. And you, of course, are an amazing singer, songwriter, trombonist, pianist, composer, and you have so many USPs, I've lost count of them, and you're a passionate advocate of the endangered Ladino language.
Yeah,
and you've
that's
been
true.
reinventing. I think that's an amazing part of what you do. And yes, it's been great to kind of develop these sessions with you as well, because what we were trying to do was to try and, I suppose, demystify that relationship between the artist and the programmer, weren't we? To try and open that up and understand how perhaps both sides could make the most of it.
Could you please repeat that sentence, because it was breaking up?
Oh, sorry. I think the internet in the UK is taking a little bit of a battering. It was just that we set these sessions up. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah. Go on.
We set these sessions up, didn't we, as an artist and a programmer trying to work together to demystify that relationship that exists between the two groups of people. And I think what we both realised is that we both love music, we both love musicians, and we both love making things happen.
Yes.
And I think we both encounter quite a lot of waste and frustration and attempts to try and, for each of those groups of people to get where they want to be and to kind of put themselves across in the best light. So we tried to put together a live session in front of people who were attending conferences, artists and programmers, to try and open up that relationship building really and look at some of the strengths and some of the opportunities. But of course, now we're in a completely different, well, not a largely different place, but we're in a very specific online marketplace now until we can go outside again.
Yeah. I think that might be a good opportunity to try and enlarge our online presence, because usually, for me at least, as a performing musician, I was supposed to play 66 concerts this year, and last year I played 90 concerts, so I was about 200 days on the road. So I'm mainly focusing my efforts on getting the gigs, and performing rather than getting any online presence or materials that I could use later on. Because, you know, you're running not only after a certain scheme that is, but also you try to be there for your fans. And also, you know, there is the added layer of making a living. So today, make a living is through playing gigs. So I guess we're kind of tending to neglect the not, I wouldn't say the artistic part of the material, but more the resonating brand part that might be or not be resonating with our fans and our listeners. So I think this opportunity that the quarantine is actually offering us is to try and develop that online presence that we sometimes tend to neglect.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's because I think this is going to last for quite a time, isn't it? So it's not just a couple of weeks out. I think we've got to make plans for getting through it and being ready for coming out the other side as well. Because we will come out the other side, and that physical marketplace will start again. It might look different, but I think being ready for that and taking this opportunity to, as you're saying, focus on some of the things that maybe are less attractive to do, you know, or less or harder, and perhaps we feel artists feel less well equipped, and so they just kind of think, well, I can't do that, I'll leave that to someone else, or I'll get around to that some other time.
Yeah,
I think now is that time to look at some of these things, isn't it?
it's easy. Steve, can I ask you to put on your headphones and not the speaker, because it's feedbacking?
I'll try it. I'll tell you what, let me do that now. So if you say something with your delightful voice,
thank
just
you.
give me 10 seconds.
So just, I'll recap a little bit. We were trying to get Steve share the screen with me so we can do a really live webinar together. But there was something went wrong with the connection. We were trying for 45 minutes yesterday and for another 45 minutes this morning, so we couldn't figure it out. So Steve is actually with me on Zoom at the moment on my computer, and I'm broadcasting directly from my phone. And he let us know in the comments that you can hear and see everything properly, and if not, we can maybe try and adjust.
Okay,
Steve,
I've reverted to
ooh, that's also a better
headphones.
sound. Yeah, very good.
Is that a better sound? Okay, lovely. Yeah. I think also for any musicians and artists out there listening to this, I think be reassured that programmers like me, we are still feeling the void that is being created in your situation now. We're not immune to that. We're not insensitive to it, because I think we still love music. We still want music to happen. We still want to support musicians to do that. And it's strange, isn't it? Because music it's one of those things, at the same time, it's both the reflection of and an escape from reality. And I think we all use music for both of those purposes at various times. At the moment, we're in a very strange reality. And there might be something in reflecting on that, but I think there also might be something in escaping from that as well, to give us a little bit of relief from the situation.
Yeah.
What we probably can't do is in the next 45 minutes tell you how to quickly make lots of money from your music, because that's probably not within our power. But
it's funny because like people who take my course tell me the same. Like after doing 5 or 6 lessons out of the 17 that are available, so they call me up or they send me a message and say, "So where is the part where we make money?" And I'm trying to explain that this is not, it's not a 1, 2, 3 go tool. It's more something that develops over time, and we kind of tend to think in short term. We're thinking, what will happen next year? What will happen in 2 years? If I cannot make it within 3 years, I quit my job and do something else. And I would say to that, think in longer schemes. Think 10 years, 15 years ahead, at least 5 years ahead. See how you're building it up to that place. Like start going to trade fairs, start doing things that benefit your career not only immediately, and try to burst the bubble of social media at the same time. So if you want to know how to make money from music, then you have to do it for a long time. nobody's here for the money. So
No.
maybe that's the biggest
I
thing.
think everyone is, most artists are, if you like, not stuck, but they are deeply embedded in the drive to constantly kind of find the next gig and do that gig and earn just the kind of bread and butter. But when you get so routinely entrenched in that, you perhaps lose a little bit of long-term vision and pulling away from that. Going, oh, hang on. So am I just going to carry on doing this for years and years and years? What about the long term?
Yes.
Where's the kind of upward movement in my career as an artist? And what do I need to do to affect that, really?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, let's say if somebody is going to med school, if you're studying to be a doctor, I mean, you first have to study for 7 years, and then you do an internship for about 2 or 3 years, depending what you do, and only after 12 years of experience, you get to actually work. So not different in any other profession, actually. You just have to keep on going and see how it works. Invest the time, build up the connections.
And I think whether we're all online or whether we're out there in the real world, I think there's a couple of key things still ring true about artistry. And I think one of those things is actually knowing and defining your USP, isn't it? Your unique selling point.
Yeah.
What is it still about you as an artist that is unlike every other artist? And that is still going to get your attention in the online marketplace as much as it would in the real one. And I think we always say this, don't we, in our sessions, only you are in control of that as an artist. You can define that. No one's telling you what that has to be, and I think it's within your gift, it's in your power to think about this and define it and actually draw that strength out of your music. Absolutely. And there's a few ways of doing that, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, like most musicians are busy with doing that on stage and perfecting their stage performance and creating backdrops for the scenery of the performance, light. They're trying to brand their imagery when they're sending out PR photos, but a lot of artists are doing either or. So they either invest in the gig part of things, or that they're investing in social media, and there's no in between, it seems to me. Even I have the tendency sometimes to invest more in live gigs than in online presence, and I think now it's the right time to try and use the corona crisis and the quarantine time to get more creative with our talents at home and see how we can bridge the visibility of our USP in both areas. So not only in one area.
And trying to make it fun as well, as much fun as the gigs are in real life, because I think that's the reason why people gravitate towards doing the gigs, is because that's where the fun is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you scroll down this page, Why DIY Music, you can find a video that I've created last week for people who are quarantined. So I made a music video in my room with a split screen, and it depicts a song that encourages us to remember that there is love in every one of us and that we are not in this alone. So if you're creating materials not only for your own, benefit, not only for your own ego, but also trying to people or see how you can reach your audience and comfort them for a while, I think this will help you not only as an artist, but also as a human being, to benefit from the experience of giving something to someone else, and not only being in a place where artists tend to be in a place where they taking, there's a lot of taking in the music business, and I think be a two-way street. We should give and take, and see what our fans have in store for us the same way that we have in store for them.
Yeah, I think also I think artists have an opportunity to be a voice for more than themselves as well, because a lot of people identify in artists. Audiences and listeners will look to art and music for the expression of a voice that perhaps they can't express themselves, or that they're feeling and not quite sure how to articulate it. So you still got to do that as an artist, and that can be part of your USP as well. And having watched that video, I was really impressed with that because you did it so quickly. You did it all yourself. You learned all those tricks about splitting the screen up into about 5 frames and overdubbing the calmness and things like that. And I think you used all sort of free software or something. You just learned how to do it in your room, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a funny process actually, because when I started out, I didn't know it's going to look as high tech as it is, because I didn't know I didn't know the editing program yet. So I started with writing the arrangement, and then I recorded the song at home. I played all the instruments, sang all the harmonies, mixed it, and looking for, because I my default was go to iMovie and try to paste it in, but it was like a disaster. So I spent a whole day Googling for other programs, other softwares, and I found something that was worth my while. It took another day to do the edit, but eventually worked out.
Mm. And maybe if people are watching that and listening to you going, well, that's all very well, you sing and play the piano and trombone. I play the double bass, or I play the tuba. But I think actually, I wouldn't look at it as in terms of being limited by your instrument, because I don't think that you need other players to make music. I mean, I know everyone knows that, but actually you could make music just with your one instrument, several times, and let that be your message and part of your USP. So I think we're seeing that more and more, of course, as people are more isolated at the moment. They have no choice. But I think turning it around into positive and actually exploring the expressive range of the instrument that you have chosen, all the instruments, and whatever it is, I think there's great inspiration in that, I think.
Thank you. I mean, I'm happy you liked it.
Great. Should we maybe sort of, those USPs, points about what makes yourself unique. We do spend quite a bit of time in real sessions on those things. And just to take you as an example, I think when we first met in Jazz in Rotterdam several years ago, and that was one of the first things that came across to me, was that, you've actually created something that no one else could have created with your combination of background, interests, musical style, and sort of personality. I think the combination that everyone has those things, that it's actually knowing what they are and knowing how to pull out the individual strengths in each of those to combine forces and make that one thing that makes you truly unique. So I think, sort of encountering that in you actually has inspired me to think, well, actually, we all have it in ourselves to be unique in some fashion. And it's just about drawing those things out and finding out, if you don't know what they are, finding out what they, or even changing them, actually making moves to kind of explore new territory with your work, to draw something hidden out from your musical personality, or your personality, or whatever.
Well, I'm very happy that it struck you. Thank you so much. By the way, I see Mark and Icarus from In Jazz in the chat, so hello there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making us meet.
And of course, In Jazz can't happen this year. It's a sad we're not going to be there.
Well, did you already hear
that? I know they're making...
But I didn't hear that it cannot happen yet. Like, they're still pending, right? Mark, let us know in the comments if there's any news. Oh, hello, Mark. We were supposed to be last week in Spain, in Jazz I Am in Barcelona with Di Rosa, that I see her also on the chat. Thank you for helping us setting this up. The thing is that, Spain is now under lockdown because of the COVID pandemic, so we couldn't go. But we said, hey, if we can't go, bring the mountain to us. So we decided to do this webinar instead. And we're very, very glad that you guys are all here and checking it out. By the way, a lot of musicians asked me if they could get a discount on my course because of the current situation, because everybody has no income at the moment, especially performing artists. So I decided to lower the price of my course to 50% off during the isolation period. So if you guys want to have a coupon, please send me a personal message here and I'll reply so you can get the course for 50% off. And I think that's how you should do this. You cannot, anticipate that the market will just follow you wherever you go.
We've seen you mentioned kind of income streams there as well, and people being in quite dire need at the moment, especially musicians, because the diary is a blank, and even kind of worse, the diary for next year is equally blank.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't really know how far they can leave ahead before they can confidently start booking.
It's true. Again. Some countries have grants for independent musicians.
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention this because it's varied across each country, isn't it? I've done a bit of research. We're very lucky in the UK here. I mean, I don't know how many musicians might be listening in the UK, but with our Arts Council and some other major funders have all been very quick to respond and convert some existing grant pots into emergency pots for artists that you can apply. Very small, temporary, I suppose, just to tide people over. So I think wherever you are, I'm hoping that there will be something there in the country, either provided directly through government or lottery aid or some of the Arts Council's equivalent in your countries. Hopefully they've launched something, they've recognised the need in the artist community and they've launched something. So if you haven't already made those moves to find out
please research
what they are, please do that.
I know that in the Netherlands,
country here.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, at least, they have a general grant, but for all freelancers. Basically, we are still pending. And they sent a message that they will they will invite us to a meeting to discuss this, but never heard back so far. So hopefully it will be set up soon. If you have any information about grants for artists in your country, please paste them in the comments that other artists that are on this video can benefit from this information as well. And I can repost it later on also on the page, so it will get more exposure and we can create a community here to support each other, all the musicians and the programmers, and not only relying on support from the outside, we also have to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people, we sort of talked about at the beginning of the session, one of the main drivers for us, us getting together to do these sessions, was actually to reflect the position of the programmer. And I think programmers are still listening to music and listening out for music, and they're still on the lookout for the programs that they're going to need to be making in the future, next year and possibly later this year. So people, even if it's not visible or evident at the moment, people like myself will be thinking, well, okay, we had to cancel this year, but what does next year's festival program look like?
Yeah, it's true.
That is something to bear in mind, that we haven't stopped looking for music.
Yes. And maybe even now they have more time to listen, because normally they're caught up in a lot of other things that they have to do for their festivals, such as production needs or, you name it. There's so many things going on all the time. So I would suggest you to continue to apply to all the possible schemes and also reach out to programmers. You might get a reply. For instance, I am now releasing a single on the radio. So if you are not performing, it is very likely that your income stream has been diminished. So it's possible to still make a living if you have enough royalties. So you can use this opportunity to try and create new materials and release singles or music videos. You can try and monetize your social media channels, for instance, your YouTube channel. If you have at least 1,000 followers and 4,000 views 4,000 hour views in the last year, then you're eligible for monetizing your content. So try and check this out. Encourage your friends to listen to your video, even one video once a day. So just to get some more view counts on your page, so eventually you will be able to monetize it.
I think that's a winning tip, and it all adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It might only be a small amount per, but
it's not a big amount, but accumulating. Like if you're, let's say you make 700 euros a year from royalties on the radio, and then you make another 600 from YouTube, and then you make another 1,500 from Spotify. So that's already about a month's salary that can keep you afloat, paying your rent and all other income and not all other expenses. Eventually. So if you accumulate your income little by little, it's also something we need to look into, because sometimes we tend to only enlarge our audience in one path. So people are only concentrating on one social media platform, or only on gigs, or only on YouTube, or only, we don't tend to spread. So if you try, and even if it's very little, even only one single, in one other platform, it might help you later on when you're able to reuse this data or monetize your content. Every little thing will count eventually.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would drive home what we said right at the top of the session. Always strive for quality. There's so much. That goes without saying. There's a dearth of online content. Yeah. Everyone's trying to be heard, and everyone's out there trying to make a noise. And the quality is paramount, I think. It always is, whether we're in a crisis or not. Yeah. But especially now that everyone can only turn to this one online marketplace. It's very easy to put things alongside each other and make instant comparisons of quality, and people are going to be making a decision within seconds of sticking with something. And that drives home that point. Usually a programmer or someone putting together some kind of conference or festival program will make a decision about whether it's in or out, possibly, within a couple of minutes of hearing the music for the first time. But I think now that time window that you have to make an impression is shrinking, because there's so much traffic out there. And I think quality, you can hear quality, it speaks for itself, and always work hard to deliver quality over and above anything else, I would say. Because no matter, regardless of style, track record, or anything, or your circumstances, always go for the best you possibly can in whatever you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I would say it goes without saying, because you have to stand out at any given moment. So it's not only now. And generally, when you ask musicians, what is, so a lot of time I get the answer, I make good music and it will touch people, so I'm just going to wait for that specific moment to occur and I don't have to do anything else. And, it goes without saying that your music is great, because there's so much great music out there. And if, you're not standing out just by writing good songs. You have to have a story. You have to have a USP, a unique selling point, something that sets you apart from the rest. So I think this is a good opportunity to try and focus on creating this USP determined content that will demonstrate what you can do. And you can do a lot with home equipment, You
can.
Yeah. And I know it's a difficult time financially, but I would recommend you to get a simple sound interface and try and, start producing music at home. The same as making videos. If you have good lighting, if you have a window, get a very thin curtain to put in front of it, a white curtain, so you can, you can diffuse the light. And then you can do a lot with just daylight and your phone camera and the sound that you've recorded on your sound interface. And it's not going to cost you a lot of money. but it will give you a lot of expertise and experience later on in not only producing your own thing. I'm not saying that everybody has to produce their own thing generally, but the opportunity to experience this now will not only help you to be more independent and more DIY, but also give you a better taste of how things are done later on. So you will know how to tell a professional on the set, for instance, I want this and that. I want the lighting to be this. I want a direct light on the wall diffused with, let's say, a barn door. You will know all the need to communicate with your peers later on. It will make your work easier and more flowing, and you will be able to create things more efficiently and in a fast way afterwards. So I would say use this opportunity also to get closer to other professional aspects of your work, and not only the one stream that you were aiming for all this time.
Yeah, I think that's right. And doing it, as I said, doing it well, because even if, well, ideas don't cost money, do they? Admittedly, bad ideas don't, but good ideas don't necessarily cost money. Yes. And I think thinking, we're using the time that we have to think more creatively now doesn't necessarily involve spending money. And as you've just said, Nani, yes, you can produce some very good, high quality content and materials at home with some fairly kind of standard equipment. I mean, that's you just need that, but you also need the kind of your creative genius to be working on full power, don't you, to make sure that the kind of technical delivery is supported by the strength of the artistic idea. That's the winning combination, I think. And also updating it, because everyone's going online every day, actually having something new to say, and something to contribute to a conversation, and some new material to post, perhaps more regularly now than we did before, I think is critical, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like, we also long for human connection at the moment. So any video material that you will post will have more interest. And also, people are on social media because they're home. So this is an amazing opportunity to try and reach these people that we normally miss because they're at work, or that they're only available in one specific hour. Let's say if you would usually post, let's say 7 o'clock in the evening, because that's when people go back home from work, and that's the 1 hour that they have to view social media. Now, if you're posting during the entire day, it's very likely that you will get the same amount of views as you get when you're posting in the hottest hour normally. So I would recommend you to try and expand.
And it's interesting.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the different types of audience potential, the different audience development that you have now. And even if you felt, for example, perhaps you felt, young families out there desperately needing high quality music content, even like 7 o'clock in the morning, because they're up. And they're the kind of audience that you would have probably never seen come to one of your gigs. And so perhaps didn't invest much time and effort into developing a particular type of audience.
Yeah.
Now you have that opportunity, because of the reasons you were just talking about. So, almost 24 hours a day, there will be an audience type available.
There is something happening. Another thing you could do at the moment is to dedicate your time to learn something new, whether it's mixing or Ableton, or making videos, learning a new software. You can take a course. There are a lot of free tutorials online. There are a lot of courses for independent musicians. Myself, I also have a course. So if you guys are interested, I'm also offering 50% off during the quarantine time. So please send me a private message here, and I'll reply with a coupon that you can use on ydiymusic.com. So use this time wisely and try to, achieve as much as possible. And are unable to do anything else. It's easy to get depressed and it's easy not to do anything. But I see this as an opportunity to do more. Because now I finally have more time. And I also have a lot of internet broadband road. So usually, can you imagine if you were on tour in Vietnam? I was there in November. I was representing the Netherlands in the European Music Festival. And there was a huge time difference. So every time I wanted to post something, I had to schedule it to appear in a certain time because it was not correlating to the same time scheme in the Netherlands. So if I would post, let's say, hey, I'm about to go on stage here and there, it would appear a day earlier in the Netherlands, and it's not the right day. So it's like it's really funny how these things work. So now you can also enjoy the benefit of being in your own time zone and posting to your audience in an easy way.
Yeah, and you're talking about developing or exploring new skills or hidden skills as well. I mean, things like composing. It's a great time if you haven't realised it. I'm sure everyone has. You know, they're stuck on their own in the house, whatever. What else can they do? But if you are a composer, I'm sure you're already doing that. But maybe you haven't even tried your hand at composing because you're a musician who spends most of your working time performing. Perhaps other people's ensembles, you know, that's perhaps a thread of work you could be looking at there.
Or you can learn.
And of course,
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, obviously, a lot of musicians are turning to online teaching now, so that's a great way of still trying to earn money and also keep your chops up. But there are a lot, and I think I would also drive home that message to be distinctive and high quality with the teaching. Think about how you can set yourself apart.
Yeah, I mean, like it's true that this is sorry to interrupt you, Steve, but I think sorry to interrupt you, but I think teaching can be a trap because if you are a performing musician and you need to if you want to continue to be a performing musician and engaging your audience during this time and afterwards, you can't allow yourself the break of not communicating with your audience while this break is happening. So if you put your efforts into teaching, it's very likely that you will, distract yourself from the goal. I personally don't teach almost at all. I do have a choir. I'm conducting a choir, but also my own project that I'm writing all the arrangements and I'm the artistic director of the choir. So for me, this is one of my creative projects. But I don't teach. And I think teaching could be a pitfall, especially in this situation when you're looking for quick income. Don't let it distract you from your goal. But I would invest this time in developing your brand and communicating with your audience more than making a quick. If you can ride this change for a while, I would say ride the change. Another thing.
I think it's really interesting, that perspective. But I mean, I wouldn't. Some people say I think put a lot of effort into teaching, and it's part of their passion about what they do.
But that's very different. If you are, but that's very different. If you are a teacher and you like teaching, and that's what you do, then it's totally something that you can do, and you should do. But if teaching isn't your thing, and you want to be a performing artist, then invest most your efforts in that. And, don't go into teaching just because you have to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is a distinction.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it really draws out, really. There are so many types of, so many ways of being. No kind of one answer to getting through this crisis. And I think it's whatever works for you, and I think whatever works in your context. But we're just trying to throw some ideas out there for you as well.
Yeah. Another thing to do maybe is to try and learn an instrument, especially if you're a solo artist and you don't know how to accompany yourself. So this is a good opportunity to find that skill and perfect it. So once you're out of this crisis, you are able to perform solo and not only with a band. Because the industry is gonna embark out of this crisis with a little less pot of finance than it had before. So I assume we are going to see in 2021 a lot of solo programming, and also in 2022, I believe. So if you can learn an instrument now is the time to do it. So you will be able and you will be prepared to accompany yourself once you're booked for a solo gig at a festival next year.
And of course, learning a new instrument could mean that you need to get some online tuition.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So, yeah. Should we talk a bit about, I mean, it's now. Yeah. Do we want to take any questions or comments or anything from any people? Or talking about
sure.
ideas.
My internet here is a little bit lagging. So Steve, could you open the Facebook page and see if there are questions? Because my page is not loading.
I don't think I can do that.
Yes,
I'm
you can.
afraid. What can I do?
This
is where I need to. I need to get some online tuition.
Yes, you can.
Just while we're doing this, I think one thing that we always do in the sessions are these kind of, we get people up from the floor, don't we, to do kind of elevator pitches with them.
Yes, we get people to participate in our session, but now it's not very likely because we cannot put them on the screen. I mean, look, you could send us a video.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, please write them in the comments and we can try and discuss them here. Or if you have ideas.
Yes, I can't see them.
Ideas.
I can't actually see them in mine, sorry. Yeah.
If you log into Facebook on your browser, extra window, and then you can see the comments.
But just let's keep some things going whilst I'm doing that.
Yes.
I was thinking about these elevator pitches that we do, which are quite funny because we met at an elevator pitch essentially, didn't we? And it's when you're an artist, you go to these conferences and sessions, just like in jazz, and quite often there are these speed meeting sessions set up, aren't there for I suppose putting yourself across in 10 minutes to a guest programmer or someone else who's one of the conference delegates. And I think there's an art to doing these. And this could be something else that you practice in your time off. If you are stuck, or could you could do it online with some friends or some other people, doing a dummy run elevator pitch. And that's really all about
and then maybe
trying to put yourself across in not a distinctive way, in a very pressurized one-to-one situation. And I think there's a great art to that. And we've both been in a lot of those, I'm sure. As an artist, you've probably been to quite a few if you do engage in that sort of thing. And it's very tempting. Well, perhaps not tempting, but it's very common for an artist to sit down and just throw a CD in my hands. They've got 10 minutes and they just start off on one really long sentence. They're determined to get to the very end of it. It lasts about 8 minutes. They perhaps give me a pair of headphones to listen to some music, and that's 10 minutes gone. And there's absolutely no dialogue or no kind of breathing space, no kind of two-way. And I think that's something we could practice at the moment, isn't it? Having a dialogue.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's quite
another thing maybe to try and perfect during your quarantine time is your EPK, electronic press kit. So that means having a good website, having good PR photos. By the way, you can take photos at home. Like my phone here, I'm filming with my phone now, and I made the music video that I did last week with my phone. It has a 12 megapixel camera, the one that takes the selfies. So it's pretty good for a selfie camera. You need a good copy, so a text about yourself, a bio that will show your USPs. And of course, professional audio. Maybe that's a little bit of barrier for people to produce professional audio at home if you have no experience, but this is also a time you could invest in learning that. And there's a lot of people teaching how to produce and mix at home with simple equipment. You can watch YouTube tutorials or get an official course. Yeah, I actually have 2 different episodes in my online course, whydiymusic.com, about how to make a kick-ass EPK on a budget. So it includes all the media outlets, if it's photos, videos, professional audio, how to make a good website, and how to write your own copy with 0 cost. So if you want to check that out, you can go on whydiymusic.com and learn for yourself. I'm also going to release once a week free videos for musicians with tips on how to do certain things. And the one about the EPK is already out on my YouTube channel, YDIY Music. So if you want to check this out, you're also welcome to get wiser with these videos. And
even just scraping the surface of those things that you're talking about, those 3 things that you need, the kind of the words, the music, and the image, they're still integral now, even in the online marketplace, aren't they, to your kind of strength as an artistic, creative person.
Yeah.
And they're very, done right, they do an important job, but done right, they can do a lot of work for you, and I think it's well worth investing. You may feel that you don't have those skills yourself to write about your own music, or to take your own picture or whatever. But I think this is where other people can help you, and you can really good. You can get good impressions of your music from some quite surprising places. If you're looking for ways to describe your music, because let's face it, musicians they're an oral bunch. Their art, their medium is music, and several. I mean, I won't say all musicians, but some musicians don't always find. They're not always attracted to the written word as a strong place to express, and I think describing music is a really hard job anyway. Full stop.
Well,
describing your own music is hard. Well, also describing music in a way that actually can communicate its essence to someone else is another thing, because it's not just about giving superlatives or opinions or kind of. It's actually. And it's a little bit more than descriptions of music, because I think what people are really interested in is the feeling they get from music. How does it make you feel?
The music has to sound from the written word.
Yeah. And I think thinking about the feelings that you have when you listen to music is a helpful way of getting to that place. In order to describe, what feelings do you want people to have when they're listening to your music? That's a very powerful tool, I think, to use anywhere. And as I say, you can ask some you can go to some quite unusual places to find that out. And people don't always hear the things that you're trying to put across in your music, because everyone's story is different. Everyone's interpretation of music is very personal, and it's often about where they are at the time they're listening to music, or who they're with, or what the situation is. Music is very embedded in that sort of life experience. That it has context, and it's all about, I remember that piece of music because I was in these woods on that sunny day listening to this, or I was in that city with that person. And trying to hook into that experiential thing, that feeling and that memory, is a really strong tool for putting across the essence of your music in words. Trying to describe that.
It's true.
And I think, and even asking some people that you don't know about music, asking young children is really funny. Just trying to kind of get an immediate response. It's a very direct, real one. Or asking some old people, asking some people who aren't musical, to try and describe how they're interpreting music. These are also, they're just little ways of trying to get to a place where you've got an opinion or an expression of your music in a way that you perhaps might not have thought about before, and that could be helpful for other people to understand. and be drawn into your music as well. So
Yeah.
I think words are important, and words used well.
I think it's important to have a good copy because in all other media, you are there to set the tone. So if you are singing your songs or playing your songs, then your personality is shining through the instrument or your vocals. When you are taking a PR photo, you have yourself to represent the music. It's the same with video. Also on the website, you can see a lot of imagery and you can use ornaments or certain styles. When there is a visual element or an audio element in the picture, it's very easy to, well, not necessarily easy, but it's much easier to make something come across as a certain feeling, as a certain distinct moment. And with written words, you have to have that specific talent to make somebody hear something. So you are not there to represent yourself while somebody is reading your written text. So I think your copy is probably one of the biggest what you should invest a lot of effort on, and it's probably one of the biggest obstacles for musicians to perfect and nail down, because it's not trivial. It's not easy to do. I would invest in making a good copy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you can get someone you get a professional to kind of help you write it as well. If you're really stuck and you're really kind of at the end of the road with it, you can't do that.
But even though you would always have to give them something to base their text on, you would always have to give them a first draft. So yeah.
And even expressing, I mean, we just talked a lot about words there, and images are equally important, I think. Because quite often they are the medium that will hit you first, aren't they? Yeah. Before the music.
What was that website that you mentioned? Bands in front of brick walls or something like that?
Oh yeah, jazz musicians in front of brick walls. Yes. This is it's really fun. You just Google that. It's just a great example of what not to do. Yes. It's just all it is just a huge page of pictures of jazz musicians standing, having their photo taken as a band against a brick wall in the city. And I think but this brings up this kind of idea, the notion of actually being aware of your context and being aware of what others are doing, your peers, and how different or similar are you compared to that. And when you see all these pictures of bands kind of lined up against brick walls with some graffiti in the background, trying to look cool, all in a long line wearing anoraks and it's sort of
with flannel shirts.
It just drives it home. It just drives it home. Yes. That need for distinctiveness in not just your music and your words, but your imagery as well. And it's a funny place to go to travel. If you have got some time, you're going to check out that site. I'm not connected to it in any way. It's just it's a funny place to spend a couple of minutes, and that will help you realise, oh my goodness, I look like our images look a bit like that. Let's stop that immediately. Everybody's doing it, and we need to do something different. And you don't always realise how, because we're all human beings, and nothing is new. Whatever you try and do, and you don't always realise someone somewhere on this planet is also probably doing what you're doing as well. And how on earth are you going to find out what that is, or how many of those people do that? But actually making a little bit of effort with your peers, your market, just putting yourself in context. And let's face it, people like me are going to be looking at all of those things, and you may not be doing the comparisons, but we will be. And so we're going to be comparing the visual food, if you like, that we're getting from you alongside others. If it looks the same, it's not going to be memorable. It's got to be memorable.
Yeah. And then again, also the audio menu that you're getting is, like, especially as a programmer, Steve, I believe that you can only program one piano trio in each festival, in each edition of the festival, maybe two, and then you're still getting 40 piano trios that are competing on the same spot. So I would say if you have a possibility to vary your formation, might help your chances to get booked.
Yeah, yes, that's right. What Nani's talking about there is actually, that's just that's quite a nerdy example of a format, the piano trio, which is so classic and so prevalent in jazz, and it's beautiful, and it's done well. It's such a beautiful experience to be playing and to experience that as well. But very crowded. The piano trio market is very crowded, and in order to be the Keith Jarrett trio or the EST, you've got to find something incredibly distinctive with the medium, with the format, as well as your music. And I think that, so, even if it's fantastic work, fantastic playing, if a program is presented with 40 piano trios, you could have a piano trio festival, I suppose, and make something of that. But the audience really wants a bit of variety in their festival experience, doesn't it? So you wouldn't want more than a couple in any one program, I'd say. Just being aware of that, and as Nani was saying, what else can you do with your formats that offers a bit of sonic diversity? The program. So now's a good time to think about that.
Yeah, and another thing would be to think about the mobility of your band. So I have a friend who's a drummer, and he has a 10-piece band. So not only he's a drummer and he needs to bring a drum set, he also needs to bring 9 other people and playing other instruments. So I would say this is a time to be creative about your formation. Maybe try to narrow it down to smaller formations. Like I said before, the music market is going to come out of the other end with less financial means. So probably in the next year, we're going to see, 2021, 2022, we're going to see a lot of solo, duo, and trio gigs on festivals. So I say try and reduce this. I wouldn't say don't do a 10-piece band, because that's also possible, but have also a smaller version that you can automatically say, yes, I can take the gig, just to be prepared, and also learn to play other instruments and think about the size of those instruments and if they need a plane ticket. So if these instruments need a plane ticket, it's probably unlikely that you're going to get invited, or you can just rent a music instrument on location. I do that a lot. When I'm playing in the States and in Canada, I always rent a musical instrument there, because it's always difficult to get musical instruments to North America. The airlines have strict rules, and and of course you don't want to get the festival ticket just for your trombone. So
absolutely,
check that out.
Yeah, and who on earth wants to go in the same car as the drummer? You've got to get there first, and then you're going to be the last one to pack up, aren't you?
Yes, you'll be munched in.
Drummers are lovely, of course.
Okay, so I can see one question. Somebody,
question.
Cynthia Veneer is asking, which software did I use to edit my last video? And that would be Adobe Premiere. This is not a free software. I have the Adobe Suite subscription, and it's part of the you could check it out if you wanted to, but definitely I'm not making a commercial for them, because it's the first time I use the program, actually. So yeah.
Probably other software is available.
Other softwares are. I did Google a lot of free softwares, and I tried to download and fibble with many of them, and I didn't get the result that I wanted, and eventually I decided to pay for a software that would get me a bit further. There is also a program called DaVinci Resolve, which is an open source software that you can download for free and has a lot of features. But as they say, you have piano people and guitar people, and I guess you have Adobe people and Premiere people. So DaVinci people and Adobe people. So for me, the DaVinci Grid looked to me a little bit like a guitar grid. So if you are a guitarist, it might be a very good thing for you to try and edit on that software. I also have on my course, I have 2 full episodes on how to make your own EPK, a kick-ass EPK, on a low budget or on 0 budget. And I have a lot of software information that I mentioned there, as well as what equipment you need to buy, what microphones, what interface, what camera, what lights, etc. So if you want to check this out, please go on whydiymusic.com and check out my course. And especially for the Corona times, I'm offering 50% off. So if you want a coupon, please send me a message and I'll reply with the coupon that you could use on the website. So
that's very good. I've had a look in there. Some good stuff in there.
Steve is on the community, by the way. Actually, yes. Maybe that's a good thing to say. When you join the course, you don't only get the lessons, it's 17 lessons, but you also get access to a community of DIY worldwide, and I even have a few programmers that are a part of the community, and you can interact in the back interface of the website. It's a little bit like Facebook. There's like a whole group kind of feeling, and you have your own profile, and you can write in the forum, and people react to each other, and you can consult with each other about problems that you have in your career, or just share materials with each other. And Steve is one of the programmers that is on the community that can give you feedback if you send him a message. That's a part of the feature of the online course and community. So check out whydiymusic.com. It's in the banner here. I think it's, yeah.
And who doesn't love a bit of interaction as well? Yes, and I should make a little plug for MGF, because we had to cancel MGF, as we were saying, this year in May. But
it was supposed to be the 25th edition.
You were going to be there, Nani. You were going to be performing with the trio, so sadly. But we are building an online program. And we're putting together some existing footage of artists that were programmed, and we're also, because we do a lot of commission, we've done a lot of commissioning over 25 years, and I've been looking back with some of our commissioned artists and delving into the archives and finding some previously unbroadcast footage of some quite some work and some performances and premieres going back. And so we'll be running that hopefully on the during the original time slot for the festival, 21st to 25th of May.
Yeah.
And yes, we should be perhaps drawing this to a close now, unless there are any other questions.
Are there any other questions? Let's see. Steve, can you see the comments? Oh, we have a lot of nice people saying hello. Hello from Belgium. So
hello.
Hey.
Hello, Belgium.
So we have Johan and Tasmin and Juliet. As far as I can see now, because some of my comments are blocked because my internet is lagging. By the way, if you want to tell us what country you're from, that would be lovely. Let us know in the comments. Yesterday I did a live concert on my other page, Nani Noam Vazana, and I had apparently 1,400 people watching live. It was really amazing. And I think it was like 13 or 14 countries. So I counted all the countries and I posted a comment, thank you all around the world for being here with us.
You too can get to those audience numbers because you spent such a long time building that online community.
Okay, there's
10 or 12 years.
There's another question here from Juliet. How do you record the music and singing for your live streams? Is it Logic or something else? Thank you and shalom. So when I'm recording a video, I use Logic Pro X. And I'm mixing on a Scarlett 1898 interface. I also have very cool microphones. If you hang on, I'll show them to you. These are these babies. I bought them on eBay. And they're originally an Am Audio Nova, but I have a genius friend who is a sound engineer that twickled with them inside, and now they have different cores, so they kind of hold competition to the Neumann U87. If you want to have tips on how to make this crazy thing, sign up for my course. It's all in there.
Wow. Well, you're going over my head now with nerdy microphone.
Yeah, I know. I think we should have a nerd bell in our live stream. So every time we say the word nerd or nerdy, there will be a bell. Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding, ding. Nerd alert. Nerd alert. So so when I'm making a music video or I'm recording audio, then I'm using Logic. But when I'm doing this live stream, to your question, Juliet, I'm actually setting up a sound system. I'm using a Behringer PPA 200, and it has a 200 watt capacity. So there's a little speaker there, and there's another speaker here on the sofa. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm so that it's actually the video that is the audio is feeding into the video, and the phone is set up here on a camera. And I'm facing the window, so I have this beautiful natural light coming at me. If you guys have more questions about that, you're welcome to check it out. Oh, Juliet, she's from London, UK. So, thanks for being with us from the UK.
Oh, thank you, Julia.
Tasman, where are you from?
Yes.
And we have Barcelona, right? We have Rosa. I saw her on the stream before, and we have Mark and Icarus from the Netherlands, and Johan from Belgium, and we had more countries before, but I forgot already. Oh, we have Einat from Israel, and Maya. Hello, Maya. How are you doing? Hey, Rosa. So the comments are back. I like that. Good. So I can write more questions. Well, I do have another meeting to get to, but I have another half hour each.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this, I see this as builders. Join us for free with two of the hottest minds in the music industry. Now, I'm not sure. I think you just heated up my mind with all that microphone talk. It's overheated.
But that's how it goes.
Well, it's lovely. It's great to talk. We're great to hear you all out there. And we just need to get through this together, don't we? Keep the faith, keep the music going strong, and we will come out of it. The other side.
Will we come out of the other side?
Stay critical. Yes, of course we will. Of course we will, and we will be together again, as our Queen said the other day. But I think Are you going to start with Queen talk? If you're going to start with Queen talk, I'm going to do Freddie. No, I'm doing Violin talk. So.
All right.
But it's just lovely. It's lovely to kind of get connected to all these people through this session. Thanks so much for joining us as well. And hopefully you found some useful tips and spent not a wise hour, but a useful hour with both of us. And as Nani says, do that, check out the course, and stay positive with music making, even in these difficult times, because music has the power to pull us through, I think. Just keep that at the back of our minds, and we'll get through it.
Okay, so Daphne is asking, thank you for this live webinar. On a live online home concert, do you need to have your voice amplified? I only done one home concert, that was yesterday. If you want to check it out, it's on my page, Nani Noam Vazana. And I amplified both my voice and the keyboard. And I was using the same Behringer setup that I mentioned before, and I had the sound feed into the video. I just set up the phone, and I had the sound in the background. So you could try that at home. Let me know how it works out for you. If you need some more tips, you can send me a message. I think you were in one of my lectures when I was in Israel, right? So I think you already have a lot of information. Are you taking the course, Daphne? I don't think you are on the course, but if you are, then you can send me through the back interface of the website. You can send me about if you have more that you would like to know. Steve, what was your biggest challenge when you had to face canceling your festival because of the pandemic?
Managing my own disappointment, I think.
Yes.
Because it was well, I won't say it's 25 years in the making, but we'd spent a lot of thought time and wondering how, if to celebrate 25 years and how we should do that and to pull something together. And with people in the UK or possibly in the north of England may remember this, or maybe you're aware of this, but the very first Manchester Jazz Festival back in 1996 was also cancelled on the day because we had a bomb in the city centre on the day of the very first Jazz Festival. So it's a great irony that also the 25th anniversary is also, for a different reason, is also cancelled. So it's kind of a strange bookend, if you like, to that first quarter century story of the organisation. But we got through it, and so that in terms of coming to terms with accepting that was actually going to be the case, and finding as quickly as possible some kind of positive outcome, and using the music and musicians and their strength and the stories and the experience that we get from music, using that in a positive way somehow to still celebrate that and mark the anniversary and try and champion what the musicians do, but also help celebrate what MJF has done over the years for things like emerging talent and new work and building the scene in the north of England. But so that was my biggest challenge, and for the team as well. I think it's very, once we got that day when we realised we had to cancel it because it's a decision that was made for us, basically. So I think we had heavy hearts for maybe an hour, but then we just made ourselves a cup of tea and then got along with the options.
That's so British. I got up and I had a cup of tea and then I started dealing with the situation.
I think just I had a cup of tea. I think the others probably found stronger refreshment. Yeah. But and then the other sort of challenges really are then trying to maintain the kind of programmer's outlook, trying to be fair, trying to be balanced, trying to offer something for an audience. How do we still do that in the online marketplace? How do we still reflect and celebrate what music has been made out there? It's obviously still possible.
Yeah, it is a bit strange to perform live. I tried that out yesterday for the first time. And I broadcasted a complete concert on my Facebook page, and it was quite weird because you don't have the audience's reaction right away, right? So you would think like, during the show you get a lot of energy from the audience, but this time I had to give the energy, like the feedback after a song, I had to give it to myself by reading the comments. So and it was an interesting experience, and I was really surprised that people were engaged during the whole time. And even though it looked like we only had, you have this icon that shows you how many people are watching it live. So it looked much less than it was actually in reality. So when I checked the view count afterwards, we had 1,400 people, tuning in. So in a way, this is one of the bigger shows that I've made for a large audience. I've performed for thousands of people before, but it's not happening very often. So most of my shows between, let's say, 250 and 600 people. So the opportunity to expose yourself to 1,400 people at once is an opportunity that we have now. It's an amazing opportunity to communicate with so many people at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was also thinking, you just asked about what did I find hard to come to terms with. But the other thing is I'm not actually wearing all my suits. And everyone who probably see me out and about, I'm lounging around at home and having to make quite an effort to actually put a suit on, which I did for everyone today. So I'm very disappointed we couldn't get
sorry for that. But you couldn't get your act to work. So
yes. Yes.
Right.
So yes, most of the suits are just hanging up in the other room, unworn for the past couple of weeks. So
I see another question here from Elo.
Another question. Yes. You're unstoppable with your answering capability there.
I was focusing on my first album and booking gigs, but with the COVID situation, all that work is gone. Any suggestions? Thank you from Barcelona. So first of all, hello in Barcelona. We miss you and we're thinking about you, and we really regret that we couldn't be there for Jazz I Am, and we hope to be there when the new date will be coming, probably, hopefully in the winter. Regarding your question, I'm actually in the same situation because I'm now crowdfunding for my new album. I started a crowdfunding campaign 1.5 months ago, just before COVID happened. And it went really well for about a week, and then it's dropped dead. And I'm now mixing the album, so it's, still in the making. And I was planning to release it in September, but I think it's not going to be released in September. I think it will be postponed for next year. So now I'm going to use this time to create online content and videos to back the audio that is going to be released in September. Well, I don't know if it's in September, but somewhere in the future. See, how can I still promote a release without knowing when it's going to be released, or at least make some content now and release it later. And the crowdfunding is still going. Luckily, actually, I am doing the crowdfunding on my own website. That's nanimusic.com, and not on an external platform, which is usually what I advise musicians that ask for my consultation, because when you do it on an external platform, you have a certain amount of time that you have to finish your campaign. And if you are not getting, if you're not getting to your goal, your campaign will be scrapped. So you will not receive the money, everybody will get the money back, and you still have to pay it depends on the website, but some websites even take as much as 15% of your profit. So you would still have to pay these commissions to the website, although you haven't earned anything. So I set up my crowdfunding campaign on my website. So I can still, continue with the campaign for an unlimited time, and, still be able to gather support for my album, even though I don't know when it's going to be released and I don't have a time frame to finish my campaign, and there will be no negative feedback of people getting their money back and the message, oh, sorry, the campaign didn't go through. So I actually have a full episode about this, how to crowdfund, on my website, so on my course. So if you want to check this out, that's whydiymusic.com. And if you were on this webinar, you also deserve a 50% off. So send me a private message and I will reply with a coupon that you could use on the website. And the address is right here.
Just thinking in answer to that, I can't remember who was it? What's the name who asked the question? I can't remember her name.
Elo Russell.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. So, but it does raise some really interesting questions about how audiences are spending their money at the moment, doesn't it? Because, the normal way that sort of economy works is now out the window, and trying to understand what motivates music consumers, to spend their money on one thing and not another at this time is really interesting. And where are the opportunities for them to do it, and how can you tap into that? Because they can't obviously buy a ticket for a gig and come and buy one of your CDs or whatever. They will also we're all faced with different types of choices about what we and we perhaps have different attitudes about the value of culture and how much money we want to spend on it at this time. Some people might be thinking, oh, I'm bored out of my skull, I've got nothing to do, but I really like great music, great art, and I'm going to spend some money on it because I have a bit of spare cash because I'm not going out. But equally, you might have some people slightly more worried about the situation and perhaps putting things away, investing money in case of emergencies or in case of anything like that. So, trying to track trends, it's very hard to do, but trying to understand a little bit more about how your audience, or who they are, and how are they spending their money. If they're not buying your gig tickets, what are they doing instead, if anything? And then trying to tap into that. As you just said, Nani, with crowdfunding, it's kind of all a little bit on hold, isn't it, at the moment? So
yeah, well, the release at least is on hold.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see
yes,
how it goes.
yeah,
The crowdfunding is still
Yeah.
going on. So
yeah.
Steve and I are doing this webinar for free. So if you guys feel like contributing something, and I think Steve already mentioned that before, if you will make a contribution for the crowdfunding, it will help us produce more material in future and go live on more sessions so we can share this information with you. So support, you can support us on the crowdfunding page. I'm going to post the link in the comments so you can, if you're able and you want to, you can send a donation or buy the album in advance.
Which all of you should be doing as artists as well, for your own work and your own outputs as well. Making an option for people to donate to your music making, whether it's to buy a product or to buy something, or just to kind of keep your music making going, keep it flowing. I think people feel good about donating to the human beings in society who normally create great art for us, and everyone understands that those people need to survive and need to thrive as well in these times.
Yeah.
So,
shall we do one last
make it easy
question?
for people. One last question, yes.
I'm looking for it now. Maya from Israel is asking, so when do you think the world of music will come back for concerts, and in what form besides smaller things and less instruments? This is the $1 million question.
I think December the 9th at 9 a.m. There you go.
Well, I think
I have no idea. It's kind of. I think we are seeing people. Initially, people were hoping and holding on before cancelling until probably as late as possible.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's not going to get cancelled.
No, I think now that in the UK here we're seeing things in June, July, August, September, even October, because it's not just whether the event can physically take place, it's actually setting up the time window in order to market it and sell tickets and get that appetite built up again. Yeah. And of course, when the restrictions do get lifted, it's hard to know whether people are going to decide or whether they'll still be very cautious and scared, and will there then be a plethora of events for people to go and see and experience, and so the dilution of audiences is going to be quite strong. And I think it'll take quite a while for it to level out again. Yeah.
My prediction is it's going to be September 2021.
September? 21. Next year, so a year and a half away.
Yeah, I think it will take the economy some time to recover, and we still don't know when we're going to get out of this COVID time. So I am assuming that, and especially, because you book gigs not from today and a month from now, you book gigs for 1 year in advance, maybe 1.5 years in advance sometimes. It's rare that you're booking 3 months ahead. So you would probably need that time to recover, and people will have to feel that they can take the risk. And some people also will have to get used to recommunicating with people again, because I guess people won't feel safe immediately to just go out and about to a big festival. I mean, if South by Southwest got cancelled, I mean, what would we say? We are on a much smaller scale. So I think it will take some time.
Yeah. But we will get there. And it might look completely different at first, and I think we will adapt, no doubt.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah.
If anyone heard a bell in the distance just behind what Nani was talking about, that was my postman trying to deliver a parcel, just to prove that we're live.
Ah, yeah, we didn't hear it.
They're going to leave it on the. Yes, I don't know what it is, but hopefully they'll let them know what's going on.
There are more questions. Do you still want to go on?
More questions?
Yeah. Or do you have to go, Steve?
I'm okay for another,
Let's do another 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Goodness,
All right,
if everyone else has the appetite, I think I can manage another 7.
If you have a question, please write it now because we only have 7 minutes left. And this is a question from John Pope. I
know John Pope, Pope John the First, from Newcastle, UK.
It looks like he's a bass player. From the photo.
One of the best.
Okay.
One of the best.
So, hello, bass player. He's asking, what do you think of subscription models like Patreon or Bandcamp subscription options? Are they viable options for artists who might need more upfront resources or finances to produce their work? I personally think that these are great options. I cannot vouch that they have worked for me. I have a Patreon page, but I actually never received any donation from anyone on Patreon. So maybe this is a little bit of a call, check my Patreon page, but I also have a crowdfunding option on my own website, a donation option. So at any given time, people can log in and make a contribution or buy products in advance, like a pre-order. I mean, if it works for you...
And is that something that works for you? Does that work really well for you? Because I think that's a good example. I suppose what you lose is the kind of cred of the Bandcamp, whatever platform, and the traffic that hopefully comes.
I don't think these things exist. It's unmeasurable, and also, if you ask any musician who had crowdfunded ever, well, I'm not talking about Amanda Palmer, right? Because she's huge. I'm talking about regular people like us that done crowdfunding. Like most donations are coming from people who are already on your newsletter. So if you have a newsletter, it's good to crowdfund. And if you don't have a newsletter, it will be difficult for you to crowdfund or do Patreon or do anything else. And also sending people to external domains. I don't really believe in that. I have all the options on my website. So I have my own online store. I have my own crowdfunding platform. People can sign up to my newsletter on my website. So all these things are integrated. Once you start sending people around, there is a chance that they will lose interest and will not get back to your website. I guess your interest is to be visible, but also to be first on Google when somebody searches for your name. So if the first thing that comes up will be Facebook, nobody's going to take you seriously. So it's better that you invest in developing your domain and its visibility.
And your followers. I think you just said something, it went by very quickly, but I think it's true in any fundraising campaign, whether you're a big organization or a solo artist. I think that the people that already know you well are probably going to be your most avid donors. And building on that base as a starting point is definitely the way to go, because if you think about it, you're giving some money to something. If you're giving some money to someone or something you just don't know, what the likelihood compared to, I know that person, I know them, I like them. But so you need to build more of those types of people within your following. And then you kind of build that fundraising campaign on your followers. And that works, I think, across the board, that principle. So it's building the followers first, and then hitting them up for money. but actually, kind of, it's not just that. It's actually building that relationship with them, isn't it? It's that two-way thing. It's about sharing and seeing, enabling them to see how their donation can help you grow as an artist and make even more and better music. I think that's message.
Tamsin is replying here to us and also to John. She's saying that Steve Lawson has great blogs about using Bandcamp. He has a great track record building audiences and creating income through this platform. Worth checking out. So I think, I would check it out too. A direct link to these blogs, please post them in the comments and we will check them out.
Definitely. remember Steve Lawson coming down to Manchester to do a session, I think, for us many years ago. Yeah, he spent his whole the length of the session. He fired up his laptop and it started doing an update, and it never got through it. So we never got the session.
Yes, but that's why we don't have you on live screen, because of some technical difficulties. But
exactly,
I'm happy to have you.
Well, that's what I'm saying anyway. It's just it's really because I've got a funny shirt on. I don't want anyone to see it.
Yeah. So,
do I have any more remaining questions?
I don't think so. It looks like there are no further questions. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Rosa Galbani and Mar from Jazz I Am for helping us setting this up. Thank you so much, and for inviting us to be a part of Jazz I Am. We are really, really looking forward to the next edition. And Steve, thank you so much for being here with us. And
thank you.
Thank you. And to you, our beautiful audience, thank you so much for watching and for asking questions and for sending beautiful hearts and photos and private messages. If you want to stay tuned, please go to my website, ydiymusic.com, and sign up for the mailing list, because I'm going to send tips on a regular basis, new videos, and a lot of free materials you could use for advancing your career. And if you feel like signing up for my course, I'm also offering, only for the quarantine time, so until June 1st, there will be a 50% off the full course. If you write me a personal message, I will reply with a coupon that you could use on the website. So thank you all for watching. And,
thanks everyone. And just a quick tip for everyone: if you haven't already seen the MGF homepage, I think it's got a list of, I suppose more pertinent for UK artists, a list of helpful links, all sorts of places to go for financial and mental health support and things like that this time as well. So go and check that out. And remember, the online festival will, fingers crossed, be happening, if pending no other emergencies, from the 21st of May, with a lot of the artists who are due to appear in some kind of streamed fashion.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and lovely to hear you and feel your waves.
And if you have any information about support schemes in your countries, so please paste them here in the comments, that other people that are here in our view, in our watch party, could also enjoy the information that we are all looking for as artists. So let's try to support each other. And thank you for being here. See you very soon. We'll try to make this into a regular thing. And hopefully Steve will be here on this side of the screen next time.
In person.
In person. With a suit. All right. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
Keep calm and DIY.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.